Hello YouTube and welcome to a brand new anime reaction series on the channel here today, albeit I don't yet know what it is I'm going to watch. So yeah, you guys can see the title. I'm sure you guys know what I'm going to watch. I'm currently unaware, and let me tell you why, and I'll get up the big wheel of death. Hello big wheel of death. So if you're new, hello hi I react to anime, but also I involve the community in picking said anime. I do polls generally, and I have done for a very long time. But the polls, in my opinion, were getting a little bit redundant. The same things were on them often, and it just seemed like the next thing in the list was always winning. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit and add an element of gambling. Very, very cool. So I still ran a poll. Here's the results here. And I'm going to take the top 3 things plus something else that was already just kind of on the list. And yeah, we're going to spin a wheel and decide what we're going to watch as opposed to, you know, just taking whatever was on the top, I guess. And I guess I should mention as well, yeah, everything that doesn't win here stays on the wheel. So there will be 1 winner, there'll be 3 losers. The 3 losers will stay on the wheel. We'll pick from them next time. I think Baccano ends in 3 weeks or so, 2 weeks. So I'm sure we'll sort that out then. And spin the wheel again and watch another one of these things. So yeah, I guess just putting it out there. If you're a fan of any of the things here, they are getting watched eventually. Unless there's some, you know, statistical improbable things happening. We'll see. But I mean, I can't really start the rest of the video unless I hit this thing, so let's hit this thing and figure it all out. So I'm kind of excited. Let's go. Okay. And click. Let's see. I mean, Tutu Nation, the Tutu Hive, the Princess Hive Mafia. You won! You won, everybody! So, yeah, now I'm going to go download the first episode and do a little bit of research into Princess Tutu, and I'll return here shortly. You'll see. Very, very exciting. And I'm back. I've downloaded the first episode. Very, very cool. I guess leave it to you guys to tell me which version to download. There was scarce few there. I believe I've got the official subs and stuff, so that should be the version I'm using. Please let me know if I'm doing anything wrong there. I'm just kind of flying blind for this first one. But yeah, there we have it. I have the ANN page up there ready to go, and what I'm going to do is what I do with most of the things that I react to, which is have a look at who made it first, and then have a quick look at a key visual, and try to make some very, very early predictions about what the hell this thing's going to be, and at least what I know about it going in. I guess I can do that last part first, which is what do I know about it going in? This Magical Girl show, as we can plainly see here on this side, not that way, this way. Yeah, I mean, I think so, right? Like, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it literally say, yeah, Princess Tutu Magica Ballerina? That's pretty close to me. That's pretty close to confirmed, I would say. Thank you, Italian version. Anyway, let's scroll down here, because there's one very, very important person at the top here that we need to talk about, and that is one Junichi Sato. So yes, a very, very famous name here. Hang on. A very, very famous name here. A very, very famous name here. I had him up here somewhere. You? No. Where is he? Here. Yes. Thank you. A very, very famous name if you know anything about Japanese animation, for sure. So where do I start? Probably here. You'd think here would be a pretty good spot to start. That's like a very, very, very important person when it comes to Sailor Moon. And, like, pushing it. And Sailor Moon is one of the most influential anime of all time. So that's a great start. The other one would be Control F. Cure? Cure. Yes. Precure. To this day, I believe, still doing some series direction work there. What do Sailor Moon and Precure have in common? That would be Magical Girl. Again, another pretty strong indicator that this is a Magical Girl show. Just while we're shouting out some other stuff here, though, I watched A Whisker Away. I thought it was decent. Obviously a little bit flawed, but it was pretty good. I had a good time. The other one here is Ari the Animation, which, again, the director series comp work there for sure, working with Hal Filmmaker, I believe the studio's name is, on that one as well. And I mean, a very, very, very wide repertoire of other shows there in between. I just think those kind of pillars there of kind of Precure, Sailor Moon and Aria are probably the ones that are most influential here, you would say. But I mean, classics up and down for sure. A little bit of work with Arno on Karekano and Evangelion and stuff. And oh yes, and this one too. I'm obviously not overly familiar, but Oja Maho Doremi? Doremi Fa Sol La. Yeah, I think that's a Banjo-Koopa one too. Does this have image? Can I click on you? Yeah, I recognize these little freaks. I think I know what this is. Again, as you could probably pretty plainly see, outside of my wheelhouse a little bit here. But we're trying, for sure, for sure. That's an A. Just spotted that. That's a name and a half. Holy shit. Yo, okay. Maybe I should have a look through the rest of these too, for sure. I guess for the uninitiated, I'll click in here, even if it's just some script work. Where is it? Lane? Hello, Lane. Series comp and script for Lane. We've got the Technolize thing going too, but I'm not overly familiar there. Just good stuff, for sure. Don't get me started on Despera. Stalled TV, very true. Next up, we have the proper director here with Shogo Komoto. So you have a chief director and that are just, I don't know, day-to-day director. I'm not really sure what the difference there is. And I don't think I've seen a single thing here, have I? It's second time I've seen Vision of Escaflowne today, so sure. But no, I haven't personally seen anything else here. That's very interesting. Okay, I'm getting I'm getting knowledge checked here a little bit. Moving swiftly onwards, I believe we have series comp and script by Michiko Yokote. Scroll down here. Oh, yes, I remember. It's very, very broad CV, I would say, for sure, for sure. None of the, I guess, staples that I've been mentioning up to this point to, I guess, connect them to the, you know, to the director in a concrete way, but there's just a ton, like, up to and including, like, really, really recent stuff, too. I mean, shout some out here. Relife is a show. Takagi-san is a show. Yamada-kun is a show. A lot of that kind of show, actually, which is interesting. The other one I can see here a little bit is Surune, as well as Tamako Market, which may talk to a little bit of a Kyoto Animation thing. Shirobako, probably a pretty good credit too, you would say. Even the recently airing Ruri Rocks, very cool. There was another really cool one here, Psyche K, right? Yeah. Fucking love me some Psyche K, so shoutouts to that. Anyway, I'm not sure how much of that is really ultimately improving my knowledge of Princess Tutu, but I digress. Music here by Kaoru Wada, which seems to be the major credit here, some Inuyasha stuff, first and foremost, as well as Run Half, obviously. There's that connection there for sure. Once again, much I have not seen, so I cannot speak to the quality of the music. I did see up here musical arrangement for Kingdom Hearts 2. That's probably pretty cool. And ActRaiser, based, for sure. Next up, art director Kenichi Tajiri. We have the Sailor Moon connection here, which is the one I keep wanting to make, of course. Also seeing this Tamayura a lot too. I believe this is another HAL filmmaker thing. And lo and behold, RE the animation as well. I can definitely see a similarity there with the art in the eyes between, again, this show from what I know about it and that one. So yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, Sergeant Frog. Sergeant Frog is another Junichi Sato thing. So very broad, a lot of stuff here. And last but certainly not least, we have Ikuko Ito, which is the original creator, as well as working on some of the animation here, which is a little bit of an odd credit. So yeah, original creator as well as character design and some animation. So I'm unsure how this thing came to pass, but it's not an adaptation of anything. This is just, I think it's just Princess Tutu, the way I understand it, and it was created by this person, Ikuko, of course, you know, for this purpose. It's not a manga, it's not a pre-existing thing, to my knowledge. It's just, yeah, it's Princess Tutu, baby. And yeah, broken record type stuff. Sailor Moon all over this thing. Tamayura, as well as RE the animation. So yeah, clearly a supremely talented person to be, you know, originally creating this thing, like probably story, scope, that kind of side of it, as well as being able to animate. Half your luck, I would say. Did mention a lot of this stuff already, but may as well have a look at HAL Filmmaker, which is the animation studio here. Dissolved in 2009, very, very uncool. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just reading up on the history there a little bit. So it's kind of gone from former Toei people making this new studio, and then obviously Junichi Sato appointed to the board. Then again, they start making a lot of this stuff here, the shows we've been talking about. Then again, kind of corporate BS happens. I thought Doga Kobo was an interesting name to mention here, because there is, I think there's some crossover there from what I've been reading. So yeah, obviously uncool that they got shut down, but it literally was 15 years ago now, so I think we can get over it. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same things we've been listing already. We've got Tutu, Skip Beat, I'm unsure what that is, but sure, it's got an 8, must be decent. There's that Tama Yura we've been talking about as well, and yeah, I mean, as we go down here, it gets a little bit... I'm unsure what to even say. Hey, I know this one. Yeah, Dokuro-chan. Yeah, I know, for sure. Okay. But yeah, mostly Aria and Princess Tutu. Those seem like the big ones here. Oban Star Racers. They got some crazy stuff going on here. And yeah, just while we're here, this is the closest thing I could get for a nice quality version of the key visual. Got a tree in the back. Tree's interesting. I like the font, even in the English here. Kind of swans? I've seen people posting ducks, so it might be ducks. Ducks are cool. I like ducks. What did we say before? Ballerina. That's definitely going on here with the shoes and the attire for sure. So it makes me think maybe like a Swan Lake thing, if we're talking like ballet. That could be a frame of reference for sure. The crown on your head. The hair's crazy too. Is that like a two-tone thing? That's kind of mental. I don't know about all that. The other one that's pretty obvious here would be the kind of thing around your neck. I don't know, is that some kind of magical girl type transformation device? Watch-majig? Maybe. It definitely looks like it has a design. It's pretty integral to the design. You would imagine it's plot important. There is a boy, question mark, in the back who is floating away, which again is some of the posing there. It's like a big old like jumping pirouette type number. I mean, you would think it's also somewhat in the performance, like you're one side, they're the other. Again, that's talking to maybe some of the silhouetting work done there too. Whenever I see a silhouette like this, I can't help but think about Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is one of my favorite things ever, for sure. And again, if we're talking about, you know, this and we're talking about Sailor Moon, that's definitely kind of same ballpark for sure. So if we're getting some Utena vibes, then that's obviously a good thing. Like, you know, obviously. I think we'll leave it there, and we'll try to dive into this first episode and see what's going on. So yes, there will be more video after I finish the episode proper. I'll be analyzing it, for lack of a better term. And yeah, we'll be going through it a pretty, you know, a bit of slower pace, trying to understand it. That's the idea. What I should also do is shout out my patrons, because they give me money. And if you want to give me money as well and see these episodes 1 week early, potentially you're the world's biggest Princess Tutu fan in the entire world, and you'd love to see 2 more episodes right immediately now, linked in the description below, there is a Patreon. You can click on it, just give it a look. If it tickles your fancy, I would appreciate the support. A very big thank you to AJ, Akamansa, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Bisa, Capella, Chibaribi, Dapper Dwarf, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Hans Peter, Ika, Yako Yavanen, Jami Boo, Joran, Kasogtha, Clem, Kot Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mickey Babbers, Miru, Mistake El Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nailu, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Pointed Snowdrop, Run Led B&K, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Tentacle Member, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Kelvin, Binshi, Aidan O'Brien, Fleur Nightingale, Gus N, Nosta, and Ossie. Thank you very much for the support. And yeah, we're diving in here. Unsure what to expect. And again, just the one episode, so I mean, it's a nice little piece for me to just get my sea legs. Yeah, everyone's very excited. I'm excited too. So let's go. Let's dive into episode 1 of Princess Tutu. Let's go. Rightio, there we have it. Episode 1 of Princess Tutu up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 56 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have an official version, I believe. It should be the official sub, so they're just typesetted kind of differently. I believe that's the vibe. Not a large fan subbing community here, I don't think, for Princess Tutu, from what I could see. So again, like, I think it's the Blu-ray. I don't know, make of that what you will, I guess. Either way, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below if you don't want to worry about any of that at all. Either way, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Drawing. There's a man who died. Prince kills Raven. I hate to say it early, but big Utena vibes. 100%. I feel like this will be very important going forward. Love that 2000 CG. Mushi-Shi vibes as well. This is an opening? This is a different vibe. Very gentle. Chapter of the Egg? We're hitting all the notes. Oh, we're building a little bit more now. Duck. They're pretty. Intense. Scheming, maybe. I'm the Joker? Yeah. I was about to say it's giving me, like maybe Ugly Duckling as well. Yeah. This melody, dude. See, I'm not totally stupid. That's Swan Lake, right? I think? It's a famous melody regardless. Anyway. I never claim to know anything. It's fine. Photo negative. Scary. You want to dance with the prince? That seems to be a problem, correct? It's going to present issues. 100%. The Cheshire Cat? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so this is this freak. What is this transition? Excuse me. I'm trying to get my sea legs here a little bit. I was going to say it's the Nutcracker too. See, I sometimes maybe know stuff sometimes. Get off me. Okay, I understand what's happening a little bit more now. The art's really fun. Very quick, too. My name's Duck. Pas de deux? I'd give my life for that? Don't do that. That sounds like something you'll regret. I think the stuff about the Ravens very interesting early, right? If we're associating one girl with a duck, is there a Raven equivalent? Well, the echo there's cool too. Well, I mean, the other girls were just getting out of bed, so... Okay. Start dancing. Is this your senpai? Or is this another different person? It is. Call him Mytho. I don't like that. Kind of wish the subs were just their names. That'd be nice. That lane there's fun, though. Not at all. Fucking spaghetti legs. Okay, easy. The day has been saved. Oh. Yeah, very thick eyelashes. That's what I'm picking up. I think they're doing a great job of, like, personifying her as a duck almost. Oh. Oi. Fuck you? Fakir is an interesting name. So did he twist his foot just now? Whoa. Okay, he's very protective. Yeah, the head snapping back and forth there and stuff. So she went early, is that? Yeah, because I was picking that up too. Rue? The cat. I was waiting for the sensei to change. No, it might just actually be a big cat. Excuse you? What is happening? Okay, you gotta focus on class now. Come on. Muto. You've said that many a time now. I'm sure we'll find out. This cat's strange. I don't like cats the best at times. Especially not dance teacher cats. Okay, special class is coming in. Probably the advanced. I wonder which one's the important character. Yeah, so she's the one that's with the senpai at the moment. Dark hair? That's all I'm saying. I recognize every piece of music here. I just never know what they're called. Okay, the two friends are fun. You got that black and white thing going on. She's cute, so forgive her. I don't think that'll work. That's really funny too. There you go. That's who's doing the typesetting apparently too. I don't know why that's on the. It's also Polish, which is odd. But anyway. Let's go. Well, that was great down the stairs too. I liked that quite a bit. Just apologizing. Okay. This is plotted in a very classic way right now, in a very, very, like, anime first episode way. Oh! Fakir's back. Okay, bye. She doesn't take no for an answer. Well, he's up there. What's this guy's end game? Mm-hmm. Okay. You are merely just a tool for me to possess and use. Do not have any personality at all. The Prince Bride or something, maybe. Maybe. Oh. Yeah, this fucking guy, when's he gonna show up? That's awesome. Okay, cool. Sick. And as this guy shows up too? Alright. I mean, I automatically don't like him. Like, listen to him. That's just terrifying. You can't be doing that. Teleports behind you? I didn't even know about you in the first place. Yeah. This is the best sequence of the episode thus far, for sure. What are you going to give her? What? This is all very interesting between those two. He's got a stupid looking head. I'm sick of pretending he doesn't look dumb. Strike up a friendship. Okay. Thanks, my friends. They're very... They just... They keep the vibe positive. I like that. Alright, nobody up near the window, or... Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. I was like, what are we looking at? Obvious metaphor is metaphoring. That's good. And what are you gonna do, Muto-senpai? Oh! Put some pants on first and foremost. What are we doing? Let it all hang out. Especially with your sore foot. Don't trip or nothing. That'd be bad. Raven. Or crow. I forget what we said. It's like the start of the episode. This guy, he's actually fucking cool. She said the thing. We are Princess Tutu. Is this some kind of transformation sequence we have happening here? Gotcha. What a hero. Oh, it's... Oh. Oh. I was like, what are we doing? So that's kind of how the magical powers are going to happen? She's going to, like, dance and say, like, a dance move? I mean, that seemed like a broadly positive thing that just happened, but my mind is also telling me it's some kind of devil deal. Hmm? Do you have a bill? A little bit. Yeah, look at the shadow. Choo-choo? I do not know. But it was fascinating. Is that it? Yeah, maybe the next time on, for sure. I'm still unsure what's real. Which I think is utterly the point, by the way. It was very good. Obviously, again, it's at least pulling influences from like one of my favorite things. Or at least they're both pulling influences from the same spot. That being Utena. I saw a lot of Utena in this, which obviously is they're both pulling from Sailor Moon. So great, wonderful. Maybe I should watch Sailor Moon one of these days too. I think I'd enjoy it quite a bit. Noticeable things. I really like the art kind of philosophy overall. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're very kind of ramshackle even sometimes, but it's almost like personality first in that regard, which I do enjoy. Everything's kind of very glazed over. It's very dreamy, which I enjoy. We're introduced to a lot of characters here. I think very clearly the best sequences are the ones with the freaky old man. That's when we're, things are getting a little bit magical and weird and stuff, so we like that. Fakir, don't really know what's going on there. Muto senpai? Too early to say. I think Ahiru's cool. The friends are cool, I like the friends. Yeah, we'll have lots to say here in due time, of course. Ooh, hang on. What the fuck? There's an anteater? There's plenty of stuff on next week. 100%. Swan Lake, scene finale. And yeah, you'll see me tomorrow for a little bit of analysis on episode 1 of Princess Tutu. Very, very cool. And we're back. That was episode 1 of Princess Tutu, and I found it quite enjoyable. And yeah, we're going to endeavor to analyze it here and figure out, at least something interesting about what it's doing here at its early stage. I felt like this was a pretty prototypical anime episode 1. We get some, far-reaching intrigue kind of stuff with... Did we even get a name for the weird old man? With the weird old man and the dream sequence to begin, as well as this stuff here. Like, that's all very far-reaching, very big thematic stuff. Even, again, Muto Senpai or Mythos, whatever we're going to call him, him saving the bird. I felt like that was quite pointed as well, and will, again, keep showing up. This kind of, I'm going to dive and save people type idea, I guess. So again, very far-reaching stuff, but also just some really nice baseline episode 1 stuff. Like, okay, let's introduce us to a main character, give us a small struggle or two, introduce setting, a side character here and there, what they're generally about, if they're protagonistic, antagonistic, kind of ending with, the tease of the ability and maybe some drawbacks there within. Again, I think it felt familiar in such a way. As I tend to do with a lot of things now, I immediately go to Utena, which is doing similar things in episode 1, in my opinion. Hey, it's introducing the character of Utena, why she's different, a little bit of intrigue about Amshi, and then obviously some of the, what did you call it? The duels, I guess, towards the end. Just a little tease there within. Just a nice base that you can build upon later and find a whole lot more meaning. And again, that's just the stuff that I can see right in front of me. There's a ton to bounce off of thematically and metaphor-wise, I would say. I do apologize for mixing up my Tchaikovsky as well. I said Swan Lake. Swan Lake seems to be next episode, or maybe it was a little bit intermingled in here as well. Nutcracker is what we're doing here in episode 1, which again is almost to a point of intertextuality, which probably means I should familiarize myself with the story of Nutcracker maybe in a little bit more detail. If that's interesting, I'll place an excerpt in here later and tell you what I find. I don't think I've ever had much experience with the Nutcracker as a story. I don't think I've ever seen it. Just only some brief stuff here. I just really read the Wikipedia summary, but there was a few interesting things. This character, this Godfather dude, again, is that kind of linked to the other guy? I don't know, because we have this general theme of the ordinary and the mundane becoming extraordinary, which is kind of what happens to Ahiru in the episode. Sort of, kinda, you would say. So who's responsible for that? There's a talented toy maker. So in the same way that a weird old guy is kind of making Ahiru into a thing, or at least tempting her with something, we have the talented toy maker over here, maybe moving, again, this Nutcracker to life and influencing all that other kind of stuff. All this stuff about the sugar plum land of sweets, fighting with mice. I don't really understand any of that yet. Maybe it'll come back. Not really much stuff about Christmas either. Anyway, it's a Wikipedia summary. I'm sure there's some more stuff going on there. It is the episode's namesake after all. Swan Lake I do have experience with. Unfortunately, it's the experience that is terrible straight to DVD home animated video versions. Again, I'll put it up on screen. But at least I know the beats in the story. And again, what we're kind of trying to get at there. So again, that's one side of it, obviously, the Swan Lake stuff, because that ties into Princess Tutu, this kind of alter ego type idea, the, stepping out of who you are right now into something much larger that has a more prominent role. I'm even seeing some pretty rudimentary ugly duckling stuff there too. Ugly duckling, blah, 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 becomes beautiful swan, right? That's, yeah, true colors coming through in the very end, but it seems like this as well has some drawbacks. I'm getting a general theme of haves versus have-nots. Ahiru is being characterized as a duck. A duck isn't the most glamorous of all birds, especially when we're contrasting it with swans and ravens and stuff in the rest of the text. Potentially she wishes she was a bird with a little bit more aura. Again, the aforementioned swan. It's almost like she early on hasn't been deemed as special, therefore, needs to go pursue that by her own means. There's an element of class there too. I believe that, again, you have this seems like a pretty highfalutin rich school. You probably got some tiering going on there. Again, hate to say it, Utana a little bit. I'm projecting a lot of that onto it for sure. On top of that, we also have two sets of, I guess, little analogies or little stories within the first episode here. One before the opening credits and then another one straight after, which is kind of the duck dream sequence that we used to begin. In general, I thought that it was interesting that, I was almost under the sense that dream that we saw with Ahiru, right, happening here, I almost thought that this was reality at first, that was kind of my read, and then, okay, something is going to happen from here to the point where this duck is going to change into a girl. So no, it seems like it's going to be the opposite type of thing. And then this story here too, which seems huge, big picture stuff. Once again, Utana's got its little shadow girl thing that it does before a lot of episodes about the story about the prince and the princess and whatnot. But is that a good thing? Yeah, exactly, right? So again, excited to dive back through here. Obviously, we'll pick up stuff as we run through, production stuff and how it's being shown and everything else in between there. Another thing I wanted to mention is I've already moved away from the subs that are used for the first episode. So if you watched the subs on the picture-in-picture Like, those aren't going to be the ones running forward. Basically for a couple reasons. One, I didn't really like the typesetting. I thought it was kind of distracting. I find this one easier to read. The other one was that it kind of took too many breaks. Like, this is probably a good example. This and the other subset, because this is the new one, would be 2 different lines. So again, to me, I look at this and I can almost read this very quickly, even though it's like 13 words and whatnot, quicker than I could read 2 sets of 6 words. Like, does that make any sense? Like, and then I flick my eyes down here, and then I'll spend more time watching the episode during the reaction if there's just larger chunks of text here. Because I flick my eyes down, read that, and then I'm on to what is actually on screen being animated. For that reason, I felt that I was kind of distracted between, again, reading all the subs, making sure everything's working over this side, as well as, trying to be somewhat entertaining during the reaction. I felt like it was all a little bit too much and potentially spoiled the reaction somewhat. So again, this is another good chance to go back through here and actually have a proper read too. It seems that we're still doing the mytho. We call her something too, which is stupid. I wish they would just translate the actual names, but I understand why. Anyway, I'm rambling. We gotta get a wriggle on here and start talking some Princess Tutu. Let's go. Once upon a time, there was a man that died. The man's work was to write and tell stories, but he could not defy death. The man's last story was about a brave and handsome prince who vanquishes a crafty raven. Okay. Couple of things. Let's go back. There was once upon a time a man who died. Is this creepy old guy from later? Right? Does he wear like a hat and stuff? Hang on, let's get him somewhere here. The answer is kind of. He definitely wears a hat going on here. Sure. So I'm thinking this is our storyteller. This is our guy. And then he is now weaving a story about a handsome prince and a raven that are in combat, apparently. This was the man's last story about a brave and handsome prince who vanquishes a crafty raven, but now their battle will go on for eternity with no end. So because the man has died, once upon a time there was a man who died, so the story is being left incomplete, almost. Again, because then we have the general kind of mytho, muta, whatever we're going to call him. He seems fed up. He seems a little bit sad and somber and whatnot. So, again, very early on, I'm tying him into the prince, and I'm tying Rue, whoever that is with the raven. I think that stuff's pretty obvious. The raven escaped from within the story, and the prince in pursuit of the raven did as well. Then, the prince took out his own heart and sealed the raven away by using a forbidden power. Heart's interesting. We got a lot of, like crystal right there type stuff going on too. Just then, from somewhere, "This is great," murmured the man who was supposed to have died. That is the storyteller. Cool. So it's almost like you've fallen into my trap type idea. Like, hey, okay, we stopped this thing by Prince took out his own heart and sealed the raven away. That's probably another reason why he feels quite forlorn. And then the storyteller, the man, is like, actually, that's pretty fucking awesome. That sounds like a great idea. And yeah, so I don't want to analyze super hard and project about a bunch of things that are probably going to be wrong. Its place in the story right now is a prophecy. It should probably be left as such. We should just be considering it, keeping it in mind without making assertions or outright conclusions from it yet. I didn't really mention the art style as well, which is gorgeous. Again, this really nice kind of black and white storybook looking thing. I think the sword design here is quite evocative, as is our raven design too. Very storybook, very kind of ramshackle in the art. Super straight lines everywhere, very sketchy. It kind of reminds me a lot of the rest of the art in the show, which is, again, they're giving the characters a lot of personality through this movement, which isn't always photorealistic. We can be a little bit cartoony, we can be a little bit off-model, off-kilter with it, which I do enjoy. It's one of those show's personality, or pieces of personality thus far from episode 1. I don't know, I don't always subscribe to this belief, but when people talk about things having soul and things not having soul, Princess Tutu right now definitely does have soul. It's like landing on that side of the equation, I would say. Even again, that whole, I don't know, soul can mean whatever you want it to mean. That's why it's a stupid internet argument term, but I'm feeling it. That's the point. It feels good. So with the opening, we'll roll through here, do the lyrics very quickly, and then we'll come back and do the visuals. Very, very striking color-wise early, though. Even maybe potentially reminiscent of some Van Gogh, some Starry Night type stuff. The voice calling, "Come now, wake up." Wiping a tear-stained face, the brilliant light and the dew on the trees are born. By the secret water's edge that no one knows of, dance the pas de deux of life, of course. Dreaming again today. It is a gentle yet fierce current. How far does the labyrinth stretch? I shall go. The dream I hold tight. And then we go into some... Anyway, I'm going to be really, really good on all my classical music here, pretty shortly. I believe this is, again, that's just the Nutcracker, right? I think so. Streets are telling me that it's called Waltz of the Flowers, and again, obviously is very much attached to the ballet, the Nutcracker, which again is another theme I should be talking about. In the show, the theme of dance, they seem to be at a ballet school, seems to be pretty integrally important there. I was wondering if this little, I guess, hair dealy was going to be part of the character design. I guess we should go have a look at Tutu herself over here. I think it's part of the Tutu design, but not specifically Ahiru's design, which is interesting. Just get a little bit of a kind of white flowy bit when when you transform. Fair enough, I guess. Musically, the opening is very gentle and very just kind of creeps along at its own pace and is very kind of intriguing. It's like it's almost tempting you. It's like kind of teasing you over, Hey, come sit a while and you'll dive deeper down into the labyrinth and fall down the spiral of Tutu almost, Maybe the pirouette of Tutu. Bit of showmanship to it as well. We have kind of these, curtain dealies pull away and, reveal the title of it. It's like, hey, again, we're like delving in. We're like coming in closer to see what's going on. Uncovering each layer, breaking apart the shell and whatnot. We tie Ahiru into her duck counterpart here, of course. Very cool. And yeah, kind of, I'm over here as Ahiru, almost again, like Cinderella vibe. Like, I'm looking off at all these people enjoying, whatever life they have, whatever role they have, right? And almost wishing to be a part of their world, There's definitely an element of temptation here. Again, we're like uncovering, it's all very mysterious up there in this kind of upper echelon of what we have going on. I almost want to go discover it as Ahiru, But again, there's a risk there too. It doesn't feel quite right, me taking this power and using it like so. It feels like I'm just a piece in a larger game almost, and I'm doing what I ought to do because, it doesn't feel right yet, I guess. But yeah, we have Mytho there. We have Fakir, of course. And you, I want to know everything about you. We do not know much about you yet, but I will learn more. Again, the mastermind here. Once again, I don't know if we got a name for the creepy old man with the huge eyes, but I mean, I just said what I think about him. I think he's creepy, and I think he has big eyes. Again, clearly some kind of like magician type guy. Clearly some kind of like, like he's gonna curse you in the narrative, like almost Shakespearean witch level stuff, like just I'm gonna be foreboding over here and I'm gonna tempt you over here with this and I'm gonna sure, I think that's his role at the moment. I don't think outright antagonistic, more to the point of setting up the story, and if that makes him antagonistic or not, it's yet to be seen. Seems like a riot though, very well animated, really, really intriguing character design, a lot of color there. One of the only older characters in the show, besides the cat guy, I guess. A point of difference for sure. I like him, even if he scares me. And yeah, pretty elaborate little dance sequence here as well. I did enjoy some of the CG we had going on there too, some of the water drops on the lake. Again, 2002, pretty impressive stuff, I will say. Straight out of there, and we're into Ahiru's dream. She herself is seeing this through the eyes of a little duck. Sees a prince, or some guy, on the lake, dancing about. Hey, I want to go dance with him, but I can't, because I'm a duck. I need to be something that isn't a duck, so I can go dance with him. a la Princess Tutu by the end of the episode. That kind of comes full circle now. We could see it. We do a really fun thing to open as well. We start on a darkened screen and then kind of photo negative in the light. I thought that was quite intriguing. It almost kind of felt like stage lights turning on too, which is always a fun little thing you can do. Introduce a stage, I love to see it. So yeah, he's off doing his thing, though he does look a little bit sad. His eyes look forlorn and whatnot. We want to see him smile. I'd rather see a smile on his dial than this. But again, I can't help him. I'm just a duck. I can't dance with him. Duck's very cute. I don't know. They do a good job of kind of combining, you know, her character design stuff, Ahiru's character design stuff, with, you know, the duck persona. It is adorable. I like it. The dream is interrupted here by our good friend, the old man. I reference the Cheshire Cat here a little bit. I don't think that's too far off the mark as well, with regards to his role in the narrative, which is cool. Yeah, hey, essentially, hey, why, you know, you say all these things, what if it wasn't the case? Again, temptation. And that's enough to scare her awake. Very, very early in the morning. Ahiru is out of bed, out of her bunk bed, because some of the perspective here is kind of hard to pick up right off the bat. You're kind of like, whoa, what's even happening? Where am I going? What's doing on? What's even real? Ooh, really liked this. So this is what I would call a really prototypical protagonist-y scene, but with a twist. So how many times in, again, some of these Disney movies, these fairy tales, do you see a main female lead, you know, conversing and, you know, I don't know, fraternizing with the wildlife? Pretty often, right? It's a trope, you know. Good characters are generally nice to animals and do good things by them and whatnot. That is just generally how things go. What I like here is that Ahiru does it in her own way. She's kind of hyperactive. She gives them all stupid little names, and it's all very chaotic very early. Like, all the birds fly in immediately, and it's like she's screaming and calling out to all of them and stuff. It's the Ahiru way. It isn't gentle in the same way that, again, maybe like a Snow White or a Sleeping Beauty would be gentle. She's going to, you know, go at her own pace. She's, you know, spunky and plucky and stuff. Again, it's not like it's never been done before. I did like it here. The bird thing seems like it's going to stick around too, because we bring up the canary mum here and the kids leaving the nest. That kind of shows back up at the kind of a, you know, mytho falling out of the window type stuff at the end of the episode. Again, along with the duck stuff, the raven stuff, the swan stuff, all sorts of stuff. So I wouldn't be, you know, surprised if there were other characters in episodes that are associated with other birds. That could be a thing that we do. I think I do ultimately prefer Muto Senpai, so I'm going to go with it rather than Mytho or Mythos. I think Muto Senpai just kind of rolls off my tongue a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, she seems pretty head over heels for him. Huge big crush, just thinking about him first thing in the morning, looking over to his window, asking the birds about him. Obsessed. If I had to guess ages here, I'm going to say that maybe she's 13 or 14. It's not out of the question for such a crush to be happening. It's actually, you know, you'd be questioning if it didn't happen, I guess. We have PK and Lily, or Riri, whatever you... PK and Lily, let's say. Those are the two friend characters, and I believe that she's been fooled here by the school bell. I think this is another different school bell as opposed to the start of school bell, because the other two, they're just getting out of bed. So she must be early. I feel like she's doing a Yui from K-On! Where she just read the clock wrong and is off to school very early. I really do like these two early. I feel like they're full of energy. We're almost kind of splitting that childhood friend character almost into two separate other characters, so we could just have more of it going on. Like either one flanking Ahiru at any time, just, you know, teasing her, bringing her back up, you know, friend stuff. I also really like some of the animation stuff we're doing here early, just stripping detail, very comedic, quite funny, very profile pickable. Good stuff. We're very quick here to establish hopes and dreams as well. Muto Senpai, I wish that I could just dance the pas de deux with you even just once. If I was able to do so, I would give my life for that. Which sounds a little bit like a deal with the devil or something. I don't know. Again, it's accompanied with a similarly foreboding sound effect, I would say. So like, maybe not the best idea to give your life up for some guy. Yeah, we even see old mate's eyes there. I don't know how I Missed that the first time. Can I find them, please? Yeah, they're there for only but a moment, but they most certainly are there. Am I giving up something when I use this Princess Tutu power? Are you draining me of my very soul? It's hard to say here at this juncture. So yes, Ahiru, very scatterbrained, comes into dance practice early, like some of the lighting stuff here too. Kind of like a spotlight down there. And yeah, we see Muto practicing by himself. So I guess this tells us that he's pretty committed, but we do say that line once again. His eyes are very sad. His heart's almost not in it. It's almost like he's being forced to do this for eternity or something, very similar to that Prince character in the start of the story there. He's given up something for freedom, but is it even freedom if you've given up something? You've given up your life? I don't know, that kind of sounded similar to what kind of Ahiru was saying before, giving up her life. So, I don't know, food for thought maybe. So yeah, for right now, you know, pretty boy, good at dancing, got the white hair, you know, kind of dead eyes type look, a little bit of a mysterious, you know, the girls would like him, I think. Lo and behold, yes, indeed, she still does have a crush on him. Nothing changed in the last 5 minutes. From there, then she gets noticed and gets all embarrassed about it. We get another good example of some of the animation stuff I'm talking about. Am liking it early. Very, you know, from what I've seen of Sailor Moon as well. They like to get their exaggerations on with some of the faces and whatnot, so... You know, not out of the wheelhouse there, I would say. Some of the spaghetti leg stuff there's kind of crazy, though. I don't think I've seen, you know, anybody go full Squidward before. But anyway, I don't know. Point being, she gets all flustered and then falls over. I've paused here on the stained glass because I saw roses and that made me very happy. But also here we've got the swan idea. And a crown. Crown's interesting for sure. I remember a crown later. We'll keep that in mind. Yeah, there's a crown later for sure. So yeah, Muto saves the day, but it's not just, you know, a little bit of a nice moment here for Ahiru. It's it's plot relevant. He maybe potentially kind of hurts his leg here, which sucks. Apparently, you know, Fakir's pretty big about him staying pretty fit, so I don't know. Bad news, I guess. I guess it shows that he is willing and able to save things and people if it injures himself, right? He's very, very sacrificial, almost Utena Prince level sacrificial, maybe. Yeah, definitely watching for that. Maybe needs to grow a bit of a personality, maybe needs to, I don't know what he needs to do other than that. I don't even know if he needs to grow a personality. It seems like he's shackled. It seems like he's shackled and isn't free, despite, you know, the dancing and the whatnot. He seems very tortured. I don't know. Obviously, again, it's episode 1. We're just watching. We're just speculating early. And she's turned into a piece of loose leaf here. That's another thing I really like about the voice performance even as well. We noted there. She kind of sounds like a duck. She goes like... She kind of quacks her way through words a little bit. And, you know, when, you know, ducks get kind of aggressive and a little bit, you know, stressed out, they'll kind of quack very quickly. Kind of a little bit of that going on here early. I don't know. It's just it's a pointed difference between these two that speak way slower and enunciate much more clearer. This is where I'm seeing some of the class stuff too. Again, they're just classically trained from a very young age and are kind of a level above you social status wise. Where again, you're all scatterbrained and you don't fit in with this special stuff we have going on over here. You're not quite as clean and proper as us. I don't know, pretty stereotypical, would you say shoujo leaning anime, you know, the relatable protagonist, for sure. And yeah, Fakir seems like a bit of a douche big, but it's still early days. It's early days for sure. Basically calls Ahiru here irrelevant and that he shouldn't have saved her. I guess the disposability of her as well ties into the class thing that I keep trying to push. Again, we're up here, you're down here, you know? And you have a level of disposability compared to us. Again, you're just down here in the rest of the classes, not with the special people later on doing the performances on stage. The scenes here between friends are very quick. They are very enjoyable, though. I'm trying to pick up some personalities here early. I guess a fact about you, Lily or Pike, it's one of the two. She seems to have a thing for Kier. Thinks that he's the best. Maybe again mirroring Ahiru's thing for Muto. I think you're more of the one to say that Ahiru is cute. So read into that however you will as well. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like blondes and I like hairbands, so I'm partial. I'm partial early. Are we going to address the teacher being a cat? It was very unexpected to me. I don't really understand it at all. And he keeps wanting to marry the students. Now, I don't care if you're an animal or not. That's still frowned upon. You know, they might be older in cat years, but they're humans, damn it. Come on now. Get with the program. It seems that Ahiru is the only one that sees this as well, so... Did I say this episode's kind of dreamlike? It is, for sure. And yeah, as class continues, Ahiru is distracted more and more by thoughts of Muto and their interaction earlier that day, the dream earlier that morning as well. Why did his eyes look so lonely? And then again, the cat teacher gets mad at her. That's the whole idea here. I've skipped quite ahead. I don't know how I did that, but... yeah, quite mad. Interesting that we have a darkened kind of swan type statue here, just as Rui, I would imagine, makes her entrance. Now we go with a Ru-chan. Okay, we'll commit that one to memory. She's very pretty. She's got red eyes and black hair. I am partial to those things. Very dignified, really strong dancer, really studious, and is apparently the one that is currently with Muto Senpai. I think a lot of her stuff, Ru-chan's stuff, is coming next episode, so we'll watch out for that in a little bit more detail, but for right now, I'm a fan. Obviously, she looks amazing. The dance sequences here have a little bit of sauce too, for sure. I do like kind of each of the people parting to, you know, present the lead almost, the center, which is our best dancer, our ace, Ru-chan, of course. And yeah, some pretty good dancing stuff there. Very pretty, very graceful. An immediate point of comparison to Ahiru. She dances so beautifully, unlike you. Yeah, this episode really is like put together quite well. And we aren't even really at the best sequence yet, which is through here. And the finale is not bad either. It's flowing really well. It's really well kind of storyboarded and planned out. It's paced at a, you know, good click. There's an interesting shot or an interesting thing going on very often. Living up to the classic title of just having a really high base level of quality to its production right now. Oh, this is fun. This is, Ru-chan has replaced Ahiru. There was a scene earlier where she was dreaming right there. So again, that's kind of like, you know, her thinking about, hey, I'll give my life to be in her position. Ru-chan's already in that position if we go by, you know, over here. See? Like, I don't know. Maybe she did give her life to be in this position. Something Raven death? Something's going on. I don't know. It's really fun to speculate on, though. Oh yeah, this cat going mental in the back. That's another great touch. Loved that. So, okay, I don't think this guy here is going to be outright antagonistic, and the only reason for that, right, is that he's doing, like, you know, little kind of pirouettes and whatever you call the one where you bend your knees like that. I don't know. It has a name. They're like mascotifying him. So he can't just be like the antagonist. Again, Utena. It'd like be having like Akio doing any of that stuff. It'd be bad. And even then, blah, 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 not an antagonist. Fine, shut up. After class, Ahiru decides that it's a good idea to suddenly show up at Muto Senpai's place and try to apologize. And yeah, without telling the friends here the context, they're still cheering on regardless. Yeah, you'd love to spam that's so cute. You think she's very kawaii. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. I feel like the sequence of her running over here is a good demonstration of Ahiru's character as well. Very, very quickly rushes on over, you know, headlong, not really thinking about it, before getting to the door and getting cold feet, essentially. Getting a little bit like, unsure what to say, I don't really know what I'm going to do, and then, you know, hyperactive almost, like punching herself in the head. Unsure what to... Yeah. Very protagonisty, very, very much so. Very scatterbrained. Fakir's head is stupid and I hate it. It's very big on him. He has like almost like big 80s hair in a way that I don't really appreciate. I don't know. He's almost got like...
He's got really weird proportions too. It's very tall compared to the other characters. He has a big head emotionally as well as physically possessing a big head. And yeah, it's not very nice at this time to Ahiru. Almost very protective of Muto Senpai, which is interesting. Wait, what is Fakir? Who is Fakir? Because I don't know. I was very quick to ascribe Ruchan to the Raven, and the Prince to the Prince, obviously. I don't know who Fakir is in the story then. If anybody, right? He seems like almost like a student council president type that is also kind of Muto Senpai's keeper. Once again, I'm absolutely certain that these two characters are shipped with one another. Fakir and Muto Senpai. Like, that's just the dynamic there. It absolutely is. Like, I don't know. People probably love to read into these little lines and think, oh, you're so tsundere, you're just concerned about him, blah, 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 blah. Like that kind of stuff. That line, though, all you have to do is listen to what I say, is very interesting too. It almost feels, I don't know, it feels like Muto is maybe this thing to be controlled here at this time. Again, he, back in the story, gave up his heart or whatever the hell, right? So Raven escaped the story, Prince followed, and then the Prince took out his own heart and sealed the Raven away using a forbidden power. So again, he is heartless at the moment, that being Muto Senpai. So like is that also without like direction? Like personality or something driving him, you know? He almost feels like robotic in that regard. I don't know. It's, yeah, like his very soul has been taken. But to seal the Raven, what does that mean? Weird. That night, Ahiru is thinking about Muto Senpai, yet again unable to say sorry, thinking that potentially there may be something that she can do for him. Elsewhere, there is a malevolent force looking to use this want for evil. Love this shot here. It's almost like it's folding out of a storybook or something. Really fun playing of perspective, just as we're kind of going into a very different sequence that gets very fantastical with this older gentleman character. I thought that this was great. Just very unnatural in a, compared to the rest of the show. At this point, it almost seems like time stops and we enter a dream sequence. There's also an element of hypnosis to this as well. He has a pendulum swinging back and forth. I don't know, he's a big old weird guy. He keeps disappearing and reappearing and stuff. He may be dead, he may not be dead. He may be pretending to be dead. It's all very odd. But either way, Ahiru runs out, recognizing this is the person from her dreams. This is where we get very fun. Play with perspective a little bit too. Like he starts embodying the shadow in pieces of the courtyard outside. He's like taking up the shadow of the fountain here. He can turn it around on a whim, almost like turning of a gear or like something in a clock or something. It's almost feels like you're maybe even winding up a nutcracker or something, like a soldier, a toy soldier. That's something. Anyway, just this pretty stereotypical trickster, like scammer, like I'm gonna promise you power without telling you the whole story type character. Just, yeah. And really cool design, once again. Loving the hair, loving the eyes. A little bit scary, but that's okay. We can deal with it. Gears are a cool metaphor too, for sure. Again, I'm talking about the pendulum along with it and the clock stuff, obviously, but also, like, I'm almost in control. This is part of a larger plan. I've planned out the mechanism by which you're going to do the thing that I want you to do, The water has begun to flow. The time has begun to pass. Now, tell me a story. It feels like almost at this moment that she's become locked in. Like even inadvertently volunteering herself for whatever this devil deal type thing is, whereby she gets the Princess Tutu stuff. The next day arrives, Muto Senpai's in bed. Fakir says he's going to go get some books for you from the library, but only the ones that he wants you to read. So again, very controlling and very protective. This is when Muto Senpai just kind of, I don't know, he wants to do something with the birds. At this similar point, Ahiru has also noticed that Fakir's gone and thinks that now is maybe a good time to go and see Muto Senpai, who two friends here, Pike and Lily, tease her for that. You love to see it. They're always bundles of joy. I really like these two. I really want to emphasize that. I feel like they're doing a lot for the personality of the show. Remind me of my own friends in a lot of ways. Maybe a little less touchy-feely, but the sentiment's kind of there. They're like my own little cheer squad. They really thread the needle between deprecating and, like, encouraging. They feel like genuine friends. Now here's where the birds are. So this is Canary Mum from before. These are her birds leaving the nest. Leaving the nest is an interesting metaphor. You're like taking that first step out into the world and breaking out of your comfort zone and finding out there's this whole big thing in front of you that you didn't know about before. You were very enclosed before, and now everything's open to you. This reflects Ahiru. She's discovering a whole new world through this Princess Tutu type power and what it all means. She mirrors the baby bird here. Not only because Muto-senpai then jumps out the window and tries to save it. So again, you saved her earlier in the episode. It's not exactly rocket science there. They reflect each other. Now, I would have put pants on, but that's just me. I'm a little bit... have a little bit more shame than you. That's okay. Oh, that's the other element I forgot about too. We have the raven here. So the raven comes and tries to attack the baby bird just as it's, making these first steps. Mama Canary needs to protect him, but that can't last forever. It puts this real great sense of like a time limit on it. And again, like the actions of the prince of Muto-senpai directly in conflict with that raven once again. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So again, we need to think about if this kind of, little allegory thing is happening now, or it's happened before, or what's happening there. Just keep it in mind. I'd love to see this again pretty often. That'd be great. And there goes Muto-senpai sacrificing himself for the betterment of the bird. And yeah, this is a fantastic sequence. Probably the first real activation of the power, the transformation sequence along with that. Almost again, Ahiru being goaded along here by this character into using this power. Explicitly mentioning a story again and starting said story. Tell me what happens in the story after this point. Like, I used to write stories, but now I almost want you to be the writer of your own and take that step forward. And again, getting kind of meta-narrative about it too, right? Like, tell me what's going to happen. Is the prince going to be saved? And upon saying that, he is going to be saved and who's going to save him, her coming through and actually being able to do that. Again, I'd love for your role in the story to be extrapolated upon. I feel like this is really, really interesting stuff. I feel like this is the part where we're most mirroring stuff like Utena in my mind, where we're getting very genre aware and very meta and very much like, did the character do the right thing there? Should we feel good about the things that just happened, or should we feel bad? What does tradition say? Is tradition correct? All these interesting thoughts. I guess we're being less genre critical right now than I guess Utena is. Again, I'd need to be more familiar with Mahou Shoujo in general to tell you if we're being a little bit more genre critical, but it doesn't feel it, I wouldn't say. She starts quacking here, which is a good touch. I also really liked some of the lighting there, calling back to that dream sequence as well. Him on the pond. Again, really feels like I've pulled you in hook, line, and sinker with the temptation of the prince. Now, hey, wear this thing. Give me your heart. Give me your soul. I'm going to take that in exchange for giving you this power to save the prince at this time. And apropos of nothing, she now knows that she's also Princess Tutu. Tell me who you are. I am Princess Tutu. That's a little bit like, how did you know that? Transformation sequence with an egg is very pointed too, considering that we had the canary mom and the birds coming out of the eggs and all that other kind of stuff. Again, also tying to the duck stuff too. I do hope we get an expanded transformation sequence a little bit later too. That would be nice. It feels like that one's a little bit truncated for mine. Not quite as elaborate as some of the other stuff I'm used to in the genre. But I mean, she's gorgeous. There's a fucking gorgeous shot. Like, look at this, man. Like, the look up there, the movement of the legs, and then that, man. Holy. That's a looker. I like that. In a very Mahou Shoujo way, she also says her abilities before they happen. She says flower waltz and is able to, again, kind of pirouette and spin in and create a bunch of flower petals that kind of hold Muto-senpai there from falling. This feels like it's the start of the pas de deux that they're doing, almost, It's her getting at least a little taste of what it is that she wanted. Look at them. Hey, we're finally on like equal playing field. We're finally seeing eye to eye. I have this little chick here to hold out for you as well. It feels like this is all just, happy and dandy and rosy and stuff. But then the bird flies away. But weirdly enough in this sequence, maybe that's actually just the truth. Does Muto-senpai not know her name? That's kind of crazy. And again, different social strata, of course. Of course I don't know your name. You're a commoner. But again, after having to tell him, her name, because he asks it, right? What's your name, Princess Tutu? He didn't say that, but I have to tell him I'm Ahiru. Now, this is where we get the reveal. Well, it's not a reveal for anybody else. Ahiru means duck in Japanese. So if you ever tell him your name, you're going to say that you're a duck. And then you're going to turn into a duck. I don't know. I guess it's this reminder of, again, who you really are. And you get a little bit of imposter syndrome there almost, I am just a duck. I'm not, a beautiful raven or a swan or any of this other stuff. I'm not Princess Tutu. I'm just Ahiru, I think some of the transformation stuff here is quite interesting too. Like she literally gets a duck bill on her face as she starts transforming in front of, Muto-senpai here. Once again giving me Cinderella. Again, the magic wearing off, the transformation failing, and something negative happening. Me needing to run away from the prince at this time. Makes me wonder if, Muto-senpai is going to follow suit there and maybe follow her or try to find her next episode. Try to find this Ahiru. Or not even. Try to just find Princess Tutu. Whatever. However he can. I'm loving the silhouette here. Just seeing that duck bill. And yeah, by the very end of it, she's just a little duck with a necklace. A very cursed, shiny necklace, but, a necklace all the same. So then, yeah, at that point, she's all the way back to square one. It seems that Princess Tutu has gone back to being a duck. Question for the class. Is she literally a duck now? Because the duck stuff in the dream seemed metaphorical before. It seemed like a dream. It doesn't have to make logical sense. Is she logically actually a duck? Because very notably, this stuff back here doesn't seem to be happening in a real setting either. This looks like a set. It looks like a stage, So, I don't know. Again, did she just turn back to normal? Or did she literally turn into a duck? I guess only time will tell. From there, we got our little ducky ED type thing. I thought the song there was quite good for the record. We'll do lyrics in due time, which I seem to say a lot because I tend to run out of time when doing these things. I do love to yap, especially about Princess Tutu. I think episode 1 there is a rather large success. We do need to keep a lot of things in mind. There was a lot of rhetorical questions there said by me. I'm not going to remember them all. I'm going to trust some of you to keep pertinent information within my mind. Again, we're going to think about ravens. We're going to think about that early story. We're going to think about, giving up someone's heart to seal the raven. I feel like that's all very important, especially when meeting this Ruchan a little bit later on. Social status, imposter syndrome, duck versus swan, subversion of ballet, intertextuality with the specific ballets chosen, a little bit of genre-aware stuff, a little bit of, knowledge that this is a story and what characters do at certain points in the story through this author character. Lots and lots to dive into. It's a big old can of worms. I'm sure that I'll spend a lot of time yapping about it because I like to do so. But yeah, successful, for sure. And yeah, you will see me next week for more Patreon if you want to be that 1 week ahead. There should be 2 more up there if all things go to plan. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next week. Goodbye. Ciao.